I think one of the advantages of being in the shadows, and I don't want to show my face for reasons. I have my reasons. But the thing is that, to me, if you really are looking at things in life, you want to make a contribution. You want to help. You want to do something to make things better. You know, and that's what it's all about. It's not about just simply fighting with people or telling them, you know, because sometimes that's not really the solution. It's not really the answer to a problem. I realized a long time ago when I was at work, I used to fight with my supervisor. He didn't like me. You know. And I think it became clear because it was a power issue. He came into this job brand new from someplace else, and he didn't know what he was doing. You know, we knew our jobs. We knew exactly what we had to do. We knew exactly how things had to happen. And he had no idea what he was doing. He was somebody who had no idea. And that was the funny thing about it, you know. He had no idea what he was doing. I always think that, you know, instead of admitting it and saying, you know what, I really don't know what I'm doing. I really need some help. I need some people to teach me how to do this job. And, you know, instead of being more humble, he got an attitude. And I guess he misinterpreted what I was doing as like I was trying to show him up or something. And that's not what I was trying to do. These kind of things happen. He couldn't help. He couldn't make a contribution to our situation, to making things better in the place, because they brought him in as someone who was trying to fix a problem, something they perceived as a problem. The real problem in that job was racism, but they didn't want to look at it that way. They wanted to look at it like, you know, how can we make these people do their jobs? Well, here's the thing in life. In life, when you think about it, it's about making things better. In life, I'm always thinking about that. How can I make life better? How can I be a real contributor? A contributor in a positive way. Well, one way in which I cannot be a contributor, is by fighting with people. If somebody disagrees with the way I do things, or things like, I mean, if I'm in a position of authority, you know, people can disagree, but there's nothing they can do about it. They can just disagree and, you know, sit there and complain. But when I do what I have to do, I'll do it, and I will demonstrate to you through my actions that what I'm doing is better than what you were thinking of doing. I would demonstrate that to you through my actions. And that's what I do in life. I mean, even with just in my everyday life, I demonstrate to people that what I do, my ideals are better because they work. A good ideal is one that works. I mean, period. There's no, if it doesn't work, okay, if your ideals don't work, there's nothing else you can say. I mean, you could have ideals that sound great, they look wonderful on paper, but when you put them into practice, they don't work. Well, I think that that's really the thing in life. The real place where action occurs, where things happen, where the world really turns, is the place where you put your ideals into practice. Where the world doesn't turn, where you're really on the sidelines all the time, is when you decide to fight people all the time. When you are looking for a brawl, when you're a brawler, and you got to fight people, and you got to insult people, and you got to provoke people, and you got to look for somebody to pwn all the time. You know, you got to think about that. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life if you're just running around trying to pwn people? Are you really doing anything? Are you doing anything that's meaningful? Anything that gives you fulfillment? What gives me fulfillment is doing things to help people. When I was at work, I stood up for people. Yes, I got into fights, but I wasn't seeking fighting. It wasn't fighting wasn't my goal. My goal was to make things better. And that's what I did. I made positive contributions that actually improved the quality of life for people around me. You know, if you're doing that, that's what counts. If you're not, then you need to rethink what you're doing.